At this conference, you've presented on embodied consent. Consent is a huge topic at the PASH Conference. Can you tell us a bit about what that means?
So embodied consent is different. Well, it's not different to regular consent, it is the same, but it adds on an extra level. Because I think at a simple level, a lot of us get tricked into thinking that consent is just yes or no. And actually, consent is an ongoing process. It happens over the duration of a connection, whether that's an hour, whether that's a one-night stand, whether that's a long-term relationship. Consent is something that is a flow of communication. And it is not only verbal, but it's also physical, it's also emotional, and it's a process of checking in, and consent can also be withdrawn. And this is something that folks can get a little bit challenged about because we want it to be simple. Because it's easy when we say yes and no, black and white, we put things in boxes and then it's simple, particularly in the eyes of the law. That's how it often is. But the reality is that for young people and for adults, consent is something that is fluid. It moves and it shifts and it changes. And it requires more than just our mind. It requires our feelings. So when we want something, for example, if somebody says, "Do you want to have sex with me?" First of all, you need to determine what does that mean exactly, what kind of sex. And maybe you don't want sex, but you want to hang out with that person or you want that person to like you. So you say yes to things that maybe you don't really want because you feel like you don't have any other options. You feel like you don't know how to expand the conversation. So embodied consent teaches young people how to expand the conversation by drawing on skills other than just yes or no questions to give them a richer understanding of what consent is like.
So that is self-awareness and also awareness of how other people might be feeling?
Absolutely. So knowing how one feels, being comfortable or at least addressing the fact that there is a feeling present, and then being able to communicate that to somebody else and then to hear their response as well. And this is a layered, very nuanced thing that, of course, 15, 16, 17-year-olds are going to struggle with. But you know what, Sarah? I know 60-year-olds who struggle with this. So this is part of life. This is something that we all need to learn, and whether you're 16 or 60, it's a really helpful life skill to be able to learn how to do this stuff with as much confidence as possible, but to recognize also that it's tricky. It's just tricky, and that's okay.
Thank you so much, Cyndi. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.